Hello, you're watching Stretford Paddock. This is here for the Paddock podcast. All right, lads. Alex is
Right,
here. Ryan's here. How you doing?
All right.
You had a good day? You've got a new coffee machine in the office, so we're flexing our muscles. We've got a few coffees on the table. Today we're going to be talking about Romelu Lukaku, aren't we? We'll talk about a few other bits as well, as we tend to do, but it's Romelu Lukaku who's our main story for today. We saw over the weekend, again, he scored in the Inter Milan derby, Inter AC derby.
Yeah.
Should we have sold him?
No.
Oh,
what are you saying?
Ryan. What are you saying that for? You got to defend everything. This wasn't on the docket that Stephen Howson told us to talk about. Remember? We have to defend Ole no matter what. No, you think it was a mistake to sell Lukaku?
Yeah, I think, and obviously there was debates over his touch and his all-round build-up play, but I think, especially towards the end of last season, definitely thought you started to see an improvement on that side of things. I think, obviously, the FA Cup game away at Arsenal, I think he set up the 2 goals. And then I think there was a game against Chelsea towards the back end of last season. We played a ball in behind for Luke Shaw. Obviously, Luke Shaw had a shot, cut it back, and then Mata took it away. And I think it was slowly starting to get there with him. Obviously, his weight was an issue as well, and that needed to drop down. But I don't agree with selling a striker who's had a proven track record of scoring goals throughout the Premier League, throughout his entire career, at an international level as well, and especially not bringing anyone else in.
Yeah, I just think... Well, go on, Alex. What do you think?
What do I think?
Who cares what I think?
think?
Let's say what you think. Go on.
No, I think it's right to sell him. I think what Ollie's definitely doing is he's looking at this in terms of a very, very, very long-term thing.
Yeah.
And I think he's said he's willing to have that drop-off in the short term for a long-term thing. And if Lukaku not being the right player and not wanting to be there, he had to get rid of him then and there.
Yeah.
And I think... look, Lukaku's a great player. He's a great player in the right system. And there's a reason why Mourinho wanted to sign Perisic. There's a reason why he wanted to sign Willian. There's a reason he signed Dalot. Because he wanted players that could cross the ball in for Lukaku. And you saw the goal that he scored for Milan. It was a cut back and a header, and he's now got players in that team. There's a reason why Conte put Ashley Young to put up balls into the back post and stuff like that. There's a reason why he's getting them kind of players the most. There's a reason why Conte wanted him at Chelsea. To replace Costa, because he knew that he could have, if he had the wing backs that he had, they were constantly putting balls in, that he could do a job.
Yeah.
Ollie doesn't see a system like that. He doesn't want to be playing crossing the ball. Now the other thing is the way teams sit back, you need that plan B in terms of someone else winning the ball, but someone that's going to sit on the bench and complain isn't the man you want as that plan B. You want someone that's going to be maybe like an Igalo that's going to be just really happy to be there, whether he's on the bench or whatever, and scores loads of goals in that way.
Yeah, the point you made before about Lukaku being like a top player, I think what he is a strange combination of like world class and world class attributes and sort of substandard attributes. So, like you said, his build-up play and his touch is pretty substandard. It's like championship level kind of build-up. But his finishing and his heading and his attacking positioning is as good as anyone in the world. He's brilliant in front of goal, as we saw for United even. Yeah. And it's just an interesting thing of, should Ole have done more to get the best out of the players he had? Should he have made it work around Lukaku a little bit better, or was that never going to work? Is he too much of a sort of a one system player and a one system manager that were just never going to work together? You got some stats for Lukaku this season and last season at United as well, haven't you? Yeah,
so in his first season, he made 51 appearances, scored 27 goals and got 9 assists. Obviously, like you say...
9 assists as well? I didn't even know he's got that. That's a lot, isn't it? That's like a decent number.
For a striker that has no build-up play to get 9 assists.
There's supposedly no build-up play.
And then in the following season, 45 appearances, 15 goals and 4 assists, still decent numbers. So overall, 96 appearances for United, 42 goals and 13 assists.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Bearing in mind, we weren't hitting...
No, we weren't scoring any
pulling
goals
up any
in that
trees,
time.
yeah, exactly.
We scored like 50 goals one season.
And at Inter now, he's on track to break his best record already. I mean, 30 games and 21 goals already and 4 assists.
He's the fastest player to ever reach 20 goals for Inter Milan, ahead of Ronaldo, ahead of... There's so many ridiculous players on that list. Milito and... all sorts of players.
I think you have to look a little bit at the standard of the Italian league right now compared to everywhere else. Inter Milan got knocked out of their Champions League group. Well, it was a strong group and not. It's not the Inter Milan of the Ronaldo days. It's not the league that... you saw that AC Milan team. Yes, they got a couple of goals up. It's a very, very poor AC Milan team.
Having said that, though, the Premier League's been a poor league this year though as well.
But United, England had 4 European semi-finalists last season. Italy haven't had that in probably 15 years.
Juventus are the only team that's done anything.
Even they're slowing down a bit. They've got a 35-year-old as their best player. All the midfield is getting on a little bit. That defence has been sort of one of the top defences for the last 10 years. Yeah. They're all 35, like Bonucci, Chiellini. They're all old players now. We've seen, like, as we saw, to be fair, with Conte at Chelsea, but Conte coming in at Inter Milan has been the difference between them being this sort of floundering 6th, 4th, 2nd, 3rd type team in behind Napoli, in behind even Lazio in recent seasons, to now being top of the league in February.
I think the way
that league is much more. It's much more of a movable kind of league than most of the leagues in Europe.
I think the argument is how good Conte is. I think
he's
people are underrating how good he's done. You know, he walked into Chelsea and won them the league straight away with. Yes, they had some very, very good players.
But again, they were an aging side.
But they had Hazard. But to look at that team and go, do you know, if we go 3 at the back here, we can play players like Victor Moses. We've now got Azpilicueta who can play as one of the best right-sided centre-halves in the world if he does that. And you're like, where's someone pulled that from? You know, that's quality. And the way he's gone into Inter Milan and kind of done the same thing and gone, do you know what, I can pick these players from the English league, get in Alexis Sanchez and Lukaku, and then you've got
Moses again,
and then you've got Moses and Ashley Young that's cost him next to nothing.
No.
Yeah.
But it fits a system. He knows the standard of the Italian league and knows that can do it. They're nowhere near as good as Juventus. Nowhere near got the squad that Juventus have. But he's done very well in that. And the thing is, but the problem that you saw with Chelsea, as soon as things went wrong, they went really wrong with Conte as well. You know, that second season when he didn't have the players for him, and he had a few injuries, and they lost that striker that was doing it. They really did struggle, and that would be the thing. You know, that United could have gone down that road again with Conte. By the looks of it, if we'd have got Conte in, he'd have probably found a system or looked at a system that would have fit the players we had. Yeah. Probably even better than Ollie did. You know, because he signed 3 of them to start with, so he must see something more than.
He's almost like a kind of. He's not the same as Mourinho, but like I said, he can utilise the same types of players that Mourinho likes to use. Like if he'd have come in.
Well, he did, because he used Mourinho's players to win at Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's done the same thing.
Yeah, he only really brought Kante in when he was at Chelsea, didn't he? In his first season.
So it's look, that would have been the option. But again, you know, the complaints about Van Gaal was it's not a United style play. One of the complaints, even when we were doing okay under Mourinho, this isn't a United style of play, and this isn't what people want to see.
I do think that's a bit of a fickle
argument.
Is, yeah. I think it's not a United style of play unless you're not winning, and that only ever gets picked up if results start going bad.
Comment here about does anyone remember Ronaldo? He wanted to leave, but we kept him for an extra year, and he was miserable. You know, that Ronaldo deal, he wasn't miserable. The other thing was that. Number one, you had the best player in the world, and you had that was another masterstroke by David Gill and Fergie to just say, right, you're going to go to Real Madrid. You're going to go we're going to get as much as we can. I want one more season out of you. Let me get my Berbatov, let me get Berbatov in. Let me get them players in around you for now. So when you do leave, so I'm okay.
Yeah, we won the league that year, didn't we?
We still won the
Champions League.
We were in the
Champions
League
like 26 goals. We got to a Champions League final. Like keeping hold of him was the right thing to do. But that was keeping hold of a player that wanted to leave, but that worked perfectly in the system we were playing. And that was the
best player in the world.
Yeah, not a player that is patchy at best. In the big games, Lukaku notoriously hasn't got many goals against the top teams. He didn't want to be there, and we weren't winning stuff, and he wasn't helping us win stuff. So there's a big difference between keeping one player for an extra year and keeping another. It's not just one size fits all. Like I think that's why I think it was the right thing to do to let him go. Whether you think we should have replaced him or not, I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point that we should have. Like the amount of injuries, it's taken very few injuries to completely expose our weaknesses up front. We saw it when Martial was injured at the start of the season. Rashford didn't look great. We've seen it now. Rashford's injured. Martial doesn't look great. No. Mason Greenwood's coming in, chipping in with goals and substitute appearances. But like the idea that we could just replace a 25-goal-a-season striker with the players we already had, whom none of which had ever scored 25 goals a season, was just ridiculous. Like, I mean, I think he should have been sold, but the idea we didn't get anyone else in is just so
same
stupid.
Argument a little bit. It's all going to happen again with Pogba next year.
Yeah.
You know, there's a good chance Pogba will leave. There's a good chance
we're going to got a jump start on that though.
Yeah, because we've got Fernandes. You've got Fernandes. I mean, it's a bit different in midfield. You've got that. But there's still going to be people look at him and go, look how good he's doing there. But do you know what? Over the grand scheme of things, You're waiting for it. It's going to happen. He's going to
You
go to
know
Madrid.
how good he's going to look anywhere else, Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
He's going to be the best midfielder in the world by an absolute mile at any
And
other
it's the
club.
same thing. It's going to.
But why did you sell him for? You should have kept on. Because it wasn't the same here, was it?
No, it wasn't the same.
He's gonna be incredible for Real Madrid or Juve, whoever
I
it
think
is.
he'll go back to Juve.
If he goes to a team that can has players running in front of him in a system that's winning games, when you don't rely, like every mistake he makes doesn't lead to a goal because the defense behind him is actually good. And you're just seeing these highlights on Twitter and everything, and United fans are just getting peppered with abuse because we let him go.
Well,
He's going to be
It
incredible.
could be exactly the same with De Gea as well. Like,
Yeah,
De Gea
same
could be
thing.
a very similar thing where, because he may have to gamble this year. You know,
Yeah.
there's talk about Dean Henderson this week and saying that United are getting the plan together for how he makes it becomes the first choice. That plan could be that De Gea goes this summer. You know, that might be one of the things that happens.
Yeah, let me just check some
And if that does, you know, he's going to look good elsewhere. But we need to not look at the players. You know, this comparison of how good looking at how good Haaland is right now. You know, but he's not our player.
It's all relative, isn't it? Yeah.
It's all relative. He might not have done that in United. He might have done, but right now we're working towards what we're doing.
I think any striker coming in is going to struggle to score goals in this team at the minute.
Yeah, it's not.
A very good example of how players don't look good in bad teams. I know we kind of know this already, but just take it away from United. Say, look at Raheem Sterling this season. The narrative this season has been that Raheem Sterling's been terrible. Generally speaking, he's not scored against United. What is it? 19 games, 20 games against United. He's not scored.
It's a
in.
long drought. Yeah.
Cam, can you stop the spam in the comments, please? But he's got 20 goals this season. Raheem Sterling has. He's been brilliant, but because City aren't they're winning games, but they're not doing
It's a
a City
different-
season.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's no good again. He's missing look at all these chances he misses all the time. He's having as good a season this year as he was last year when he was regarded as the best player in the league.
It's just
all the players that have come through United in the last few years have looked the worst version of themselves because they're in a team that's not winning games.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be the same with Pogba, as you said, same with Lukaku. But we've just got to somehow come out of that.
I mean,
You're talking about replacing Pogba. Like Fernandes is hopefully the
You
first
look
step
at
in doing
Jordan Henderson as well. Like how the
Oh,
first
oh,
few
don't.
years at
Perfect
Liverpool.
example.
No, but look at Liverpool when he was at Liverpool for them first few seasons, and everyone's going, he is dreadful. He was dreadful, and people were slagging him off and saying, oh yeah, well he works well and does all this. Now he's going to win PFA Player of the Year.
But he still doesn't do anything. That
No, he
hasn't
doesn't do
done.
anything different.
He's the same player.
He's the same player,
Every
but he's in a
long
team that
ball
does
he
really
does
well.
goes out for a fucking throw-in.
Yeah, like have you seen? Like a lot of times, I don't like to comment because if I genuinely haven't seen someone play, I don't want to say they're this or they're that. I've seen probably 50 full Jordan Henderson games, which I think is enough to at least have an opinion on.
Yeah.
52,
And
yeah.
he is 6 out of 10 in everything: tackling, defending, attacking, passing, shooting, all of that.
But any good working midfielder in that Liverpool
Yeah.
team right now,
don't
anyone
even-
that can put a shift in,
This could get clicked up, but I don't actually think Liverpool's midfield is that good.
no, he just works hard. That's what I mean. Anyone that can go in that midfield and work hard.
I'd say Leicester's midfield three is better in terms of
quality-wise,
talent.
but in just terms of fitting
I mean,
the
I
system.
like Henderson, but do you remember when England played against Holland in that friendly match?
What, when he booted out a play every time?
Well, no. And you watched De Jong playing in that deep line playmaker position for Holland, and we could not get the ball off their midfield. And it was a 19-year-old lad just passing it around all of us. And when Henderson got the ball, it was not even close to the same quality on the ball. He hasn't got the vision, he hasn't got the passing. And I like him. He's the captain of the team that's going to win the league and probably get a record ever points total, all that stuff. Well done. But yeah, he is a great example. Sterling on one hand, look at this player who's doing pretty much the same as he did last season, but everyone's saying he's having a bad year. And Henderson, who's doing pretty much the same as he did last season, but everyone's saying he's the best player in the
Sterling
league.
probably looked better for Liverpool than first few years when he was coming through, and because he was more of a he got on the ball more often.
Yeah.
Whereas now, when his job is literally getting in that back post and doing things like that, it's a different narrative though. It's a different how they.
There's
how
no in
you frame
between with
players.
football nowadays.
No.
Either something's really good or something's really shit. There's no in between.
Lukaku is just lazy, poor in first touch. Well, the lazy thing. I don't think he's lazy.
No.
I don't think he's a lazy
I
player.
think he
at
was
all.
very unfit. I think.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen this? Can you get this article up on? It was on Reddit before. Apparently, had this intestinal digestive issue. Have you seen this? Get it up. You'll like this. I wish Steve was here for this because I'm sure he'd have some opinions on this, or he'd be probably testing himself to see if he's got it. Because apparently, Lukaku, when he went to Milan, they were like, "Oh, you've got this gut problem that's making you digest things improperly," and they've noticed it, and he's lost 6 kilos or 8 kilos.
Was it
or
on
something.
here?
Yeah, if you just go click on that. and then just click on. It'll be one of the first ones. Actually, it might be in soccer, to be honest.
It did always baffle me that how the amount of
Go in soccer.
nutritionists and sports scientists you've got at the club,
Yeah.
and he was that overweight. I don't how anyone has allowed him to get himself in that condition was beyond me.
Well, I mean, if it's a medical condition, then
Was it though?
well, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it must
Because
have
surely Inter, I mean, what looks better for them, that they diagnosed this like problem that he had, or that they just get him on a diet and he loses weight? What's better? There you go, that top one there.
Here we go. Lukaku had a malfunctioning digestive system last season, which was also unknown to him and Manchester United, and thus he was having issues with his weight and fitness. Inter Milan quickly rectified this, helping him lose half a stone in 12 days.
What do you reckon to that?
I reckon he's just had some Actimel yogurts and it's just flowing out of him. That's probably what it is.
Couple of them.
Yeah, and he's
on
fine.
the pitch scoring goals, half a stone lighter. I
Yeah.
mean, also half a stone. What he must weigh 15 stone. He's 6'2". How would he even notice that? Like,
I
he's
dunno,
lost
but
3
He
kilograms.
had a lot of weight.
I take my shoes off and lose 3 kilograms. There's no way that's been the whole difference in how good he's been, is it?
If that is true, he must have still got to a point where he was like eating, and he's gone. Right,
This isn't right.
yeah,
Is it?
I'm continuously putting weight on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't just carry on scoffing food and thought, that's right.
I still think it was the right decision in terms of getting
Yeah,
rid of him.
I can see both sides of it.
Yeah. Apparently, Sanchez is coming back to us in the summer. I just think who's going to buy him?
Yeah, I
You want
think,
to pay
it's gonna have to be
350 grand a
Chinese
week
team.
as like a base level.
I think that was just all stuff in the press to make him be more sellable than he is right now. Because if he's coming back to United anyway, and Ollie just goes, yeah, we're going to get rid of him as soon as he comes back. That's all we're going to do. People are going to go, well, okay, we'll just take him off you for free then.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what's happened this year. You could see that he wanted out. You
It
have
might
to
be
have
another
some
loan, to be
kind of.
honest.
You have to have some kind of bigging him
Yeah.
up at some point. Yeah, I think the loan is probably.
Yeah, it looks like Smalling might be staying in Roma as well. There are reports coming out today that they want him to stay and that he wants to stay as well.
Smalling's another one that I can't get my head around.
Yeah, it's almost the same narrative as Lukaku, though, isn't it? Like everyone wanted him to, not everyone, but like the general consensus was that he wanted him to go. Is that people wanted him to go, and then now he's gone. It's look how good he is. Like it's literally the same thing that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. He was never top level, and he was never going to be a top level centre half. But I feel like with Smalling, the good outweighed the bad with him. Well, let's be like, what was he?
I like Chris Smalling.
What was he terrible at other than with the ball at his feet?
Nothing. As a defender,
Defender, he was fine.
excellent.
He'd always pop up with a goal as well.
But I've never seen someone have to change the body shape so much
Oh,
to do
no.
a 6-yard pass.
Yeah,
he had to
proper
pass from
comes
me to
round
you
it,
here, and he had to like proper
Right.
shuffle around.
Yeah.
He never looked comfortable.
Just like, and I said, you've seen the difference this year. How many times we've been able to play out the back. You can't do that with Chris Smalling in the team, you know. And I've not watched much Roma. I'm not going to lie and say that, but I'm guessing they don't do that as often. I'm guessing they go more direct to people.
Even
like
then, you're probably
Edin
going to still
Dzeko.
get a lot more time on the ball as well. So probably
Yeah,
has
it's
got time
a
to do
different
360.
league. It's a different
different
setup
league,
of a
isn't it?
league. Yeah, it relies.
Everyone's
on
slated
different
Smalling, yeah. Smalling's a footballer, isn't that great? But Smalling as a defender is
Yeah.
very good.
It's fine.
Yeah, we saw
Phil
that
Jones,
as well.
as much as you slag him off, you know, there's a reason why when Ollie first came in, I
I like that noise a lot. I really like the noise you made there. Right? Thanks for that.
he's a better footballing centre half than most.
Do it again.
He is. He's just got an absolute clanger in the lads.
I'll disagree with you on that one. And I'll leave
He's
it
a-
there.
You don't. I mean, I know Phil Jones is. I think it's a lot of it's confidence. And I think he's just lost it now completely. But I think as an actual technical footballer, he was better. He was better when he first came in as a footballer than Chris Smalling was. When he first came in,
I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying last season or last week when he looked a bit dodgy against Tranmere, but
Smalling can't defend without having his hands all over lads. VAR would have a field day with him. He used to
That's a
love a
good
shirt
point.
pull on a corner,
That's a good
didn't he?
point, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like stood behind someone, just pulling the shirt off the back. It's true, Jones can play. Yeah, exactly.
it is true.
What's that? Lukaku told the World Cup press at Belgium 2018 World Cup squad better than his teammates at United. It all went downhill after that at United.
I think there's a. I don't know what
He's
he
not
said.
lying, is he?
There's a couple of interviews he's
Yeah,
done.
Belgium
since,
are better than Man United.
Yeah, there's a couple of interviews he's done since then, and he where he said that in I think like the March of his first season he wasn't very happy with how he was being treated by the press and things like that. Man United.
Yeah, people underestimate that as well. Like,
It's a very different
Look at
thing.
someone like Jesse Lingard, the amount of shit he's had in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Do you think that
it's dead
regardless
easy.
of whether they deserve whatever.
Yeah.
Not that you deserve like hate, but like
No.
if you deserve a bit of criticism for the way you're playing, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But that people act like that doesn't affect people's confidence in the way they play and
Yeah.
how they feel they've got a point to prove and how they act when they're on the pitch. Like these
And I
things
think
actually do make a difference to people.
Being a 16-year-old at Chelsea and then going, or then playing at West Brom, or then playing at Everton.
Yeah.
It's very different to
it's a
being
big
Manchester
step up,
United's new number 9 that's going to be
exactly.
the saviour of all things.
Like-
and he's going to replace Zlatan. I can remember he's come in and
What was it,
Zlatan's gone
75
out.
million?
75 million. You're like, okay, right, he's going to do all that. And
Which, to be fair, in his first season,
his first season, it looked
Yeah.
good. But, and then...
And Lukaku as well. I've read a lot of quotes from him when he came to United, and there was a lot of quotes from when he was talking about his Anderlecht days. Because have you seen that picture of him where they're like 13 and he stood at the halfway line with the ref
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the other kid, and he's the
5
size of
times
the
the
ref,
size.
and
Yeah,
the other kid's
he was like
but
8
he-
foot tall.
He used to get told a lot. Apparently, I think this is like a lot of people have got this kind of story, and it meant they were you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, all this sort of thing. And he really, the way he speaks, he really does seem to have a "I'm going to prove you wrong" attitude, Lukaku.
Yeah.
Which I don't know whether that lends him to being a little bit more susceptible to like. I don't know what it is, but he always seemed to be defending himself above everything else at United, didn't he? He had that kind of slightly selfish mentality. Which
don't think-
he's fine, and that is how some people get to where they get to.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, you compare that to like McTominay, where he talks like, I'm talking on part of the club here. I work for this club. This is me. It's the same thing. Whereas Lukaku always felt like, well, this, it's not my. This is happening. Just bear in mind that this is happening. Like it always seemed a bit defensive.
In a
from him.
different way, like the way when Ronaldo first came to Man United, he got booted at every single ground he went to because he was trying all these tricks, flicks, going past people and things like that, and he was getting stick for diving and stick for this. And what he did in that, instead of just taking criticism or taking that, he went, right, well, there's 2 things I've got to do. The first thing I've got to do is get kicked less, so I've got to be faster and stronger.
Yeah.
And also I've just got, because he started towards the end just kind of just shrugging his shoulders saying, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what Lukaku didn't do. He kind of didn't accept that you're at Manchester United, you're their number 1 striker, you're going to get stick. You need to just accept that. There's players that aren't going to be able to do that, and that's fair enough. But okay, so you've got to go somewhere else. You're not going to do it at Manchester United.
And to be fair, I'm happy for Lukaku that he is doing so well at Inter,
Yeah.
and because I do genuinely feel like he would never have been this happy at United. Like I just don't think the fit under Solskjaer. I don't think the fit was there at United. So it's not like it's like jealous girlfriend. Like your ex leaves you and you're like, oh, you jealous because you've seen it with another lad. It's like this wasn't going to work, so I'm happy that you're happy.
I don't
Do you know
think
what
he
I
would
mean?
have started.
That's how it feels with Lukaku.
I don't think with
Seeing with his
Rashford.
new missus, you're like,
I
you
don't
know
think
what,
with
mate?
Rashford, Martial,
I'm happy
and
for
Dan
you.
James fit, or with that 3, or with Greenwood fit.
Yeah.
I don't think he starts. I think in certain games he comes on. And
He
I
would
think
have played
in
a lot of
certain
games this
he'll
season,
play,
yeah.
but I think Ollie kind of thought, do you know what? I've got this lad here who's on mega money, one of the top earners in the squad, and I don't see him as starting every single game for me. I don't see him doing what I want him to do. What's the choice? We either sit him on the bench, he'll become unhappy, and we're going to sell him for less, or do we sell him right now and get the money back for him? Whether we can replace him or not, let's get it now, and long term we'll sort it out.
Someone talking about a race element to some of the criticism, and I think the sad thing is there is always going to be a little bit of
I
that.
think there
isn't
is. Yeah, I think there's...
Not to say that players like we talked, Phil Jones is mocked
nothing to
and
do with it,
harried
yeah.
as much as anyone, but yeah, there is always going to be that as well, which is a horrible side of things that you just can't really.
The other thing that people don't look at is the fact that when Di Maria came here, where did he play before? Benfica, Madrid, and then you've got to come to Manchester weather. It's a very different
Yeah.
I know it sounds something that you shouldn't care about, but it's your life you've been in these cities where it's been
Yeah, like if
weather
I had to
every
go and
day.
play for Florida and I was playing in 35 degrees, 100% humidity, I would be even shitter than I am now.
Yeah.
I would be terrible. So yeah, I don't.
No, but if you got asked tomorrow, right, I'm going to relocate you to south of France. Be great, but
but the
you don't
wine,
speak
though.
you don't speak any French.
Any France.
Any France.
I don't speak any France. Is that going to be an
I don't
issue,
speak
lads?
any France.
Just so you
Don't
know.
speak any French.
Yeah.
You're going to hate
but
it. You might hate it for a bit.
People act like
No.
moving country and moving away from your family and stuff is just dead
Just
easy.
do it,
Well,
yeah.
they earn 200 grand a week. And,
Yeah.
You're still a person.
Yeah.
You still have
And
confidence
that's why-
and morale, and you miss people and you're sad and you're depressed and all that shit.
That's why English players adapt to the English league and stay in.
That's why they don't ever leave.
That's why they don't leave, because they don't want to try something.
There's still
different.
people giving Kieran Trippier a round of applause for going to Atletico Madrid. Like, you know what? Fair play to him. Like,
Fair play,
he's going to one of the biggest clubs in the world, and you're acting like he's doing charity work. It's like Atletico Madrid here. Come on, not hard, is it? Every other country in the world are expected to come to England like it's fine. We've got the shittest weather of anywhere in the world. Anyway. There you go, look, exactly. 200 grand a week and depressed. Now, mate, that's not how depression works.
Still human beings,
that's not how sadness and confidence works. Money doesn't make you happy.
No.
It makes you be able to buy stuff, which makes you a bit happy. But you can still be depressed no matter how much you earn.
I'd like to try and find out if money does make you happy, though.
Yeah, that can be an
Give it a
experiment.
go. Yeah,
We'll get
see
Jeff
what we can
Bezos
do.
on
Trial
the
run.
phone and say,
see if he'll
give
do
us
it.
20 billion and see if it makes me happy. Anyway, talking about Henderson should start next season cashing on De Gea. Should we have a little chat about that before we go? What do we think?
I think you have to look. I think for all he's doing, I think he has to look long term. I think if he sees De Henderson,
Wait,
both of
let's
them.
have the two of them.
We're
I
applying
can't
to the
talk
FA to see if
today.
we can have two goalkeepers at once, please.
If he sees Dean Henderson as the main man, even if it's 3 years' time, we have to make a decision this season. If that's cashing in De Gea, it's a harsh thing to do, but
Cruel business.
It's a cruel business, and to be honest, like I said, it might look bad for a year. It might not work out straight away. But
I definitely think the question's got to be asked. I think we've seen De Gea over the last 18 months not really be himself. He's sort of come back to his best. Well, I wouldn't say his best. I'd still say he's a slight shade under what he was. But like we say, you've seen how Henderson's been improving this season, and I think, especially with the contract De Gea signed last summer as well.
Yeah.
I think anything beyond this season, we're definitely going to take a massive hit on a transfer fee, and I definitely do think it might be time to have a look and see if we can get a new keeper in like Henderson.
What someone said here, Henderson on another season on loan. Look, I think that would be
If
the
he's happy to
that's
do
the
it,
ideal situation. But I think there's already been murmurs coming out that he's saying he wants to be signed up to somewhere for next year. I don't think he wants to do anything on loan, so he's either going to get sold to someone.
Do you think he'll say that if Sheffield United finish 4th and we finish 8th? Champions League with Sheffield United, or come back to you? Do you want to come back? I'm all right, actually. I've lost my passport. I've lost my train ticket. I'm going to stay in Sheffield for another year. I've lost
bangers in the first few games, and
But he's almost gone back to that now. He's always been a good shot stopper, but he's like when he first came, crosses were his issue. Crossing into the box, physicality was his issue, and he's almost gone back to that.
But it's
now.
easy again. It's very easy to fix that when you've got Rio and Vidic in front of you, and they just kind of go, "All right, you can't do that. I'll sort it, lads, for you."
But that wasn't.
Whereas now,
that has been his issue, even when he has been incredible. De Gea, I think there's always been that case. He's a bit weak. He's a bit weak when it comes to collecting the ball, and he doesn't come out for corners. He's not that Neuer type of sweeper, is he? He's always been like that.
I always thought Neuer took it too far, man.
Yeah, Neuer was on the halfway line most of the time.
There's always someone else's fault when Neuer conceded as well.
Yeah. So, I think bringing Henderson in isn't necessarily like the right thing to do. Also, let's see how he does at the Euros, see what happens there, because there's a lot of talk that Pickford isn't going to be England's number one anymore.
Good.
But
he can't be.
If Henderson has a horrific Euros, let's say he comes in and is England's number one and doesn't perform well, then all of a sudden the atmosphere and the sort of mood on him will change dramatically. I think we need to wait and see a little bit. We've got 3 excellent goalkeepers on long-term contracts. I think that's a good position to be in.
Live chat there, lads. Sorry.
Hello? We've lost the live chat.
We've lost the live
chat.
God,
we've gone down.
We've gone down.
But yeah, would you like to see Henderson back at Sheffield United for one more year then?
I think if he's happy to do it, then yeah. But I think, like I say, if he sees himself being the number one at United next season, I'd at least give him a shot.
Yeah. Oh, also, while we're here, just so you know, all of our podcasts are available on like Spotify, iTunes, any of your usual podcast locations. So if you want to check that out, just search Stretford Paddock or search Man United podcast, and we'll
give them a review. If you don't like them, tell us. If you like them,
well, if you give us a 5-star review, what we're going to do each week, we'll do it on Thursday, is we're going to pick some of the funniest and best reviews that we get, read them out on the podcast, and respond to them. And also, if you're the best review of the week on Howson's Brew every Monday, we're going to give someone a Stretford Paddock mug as well.
So make sure in your review, because you can't just find people on there, leave your Twitter handle or something. Say this is my Twitter in there. Say this is what it is.
So leave us a review on iTunes as well. It would be greatly appreciated. Any other comments in there before we go?
Because
Ryan's got to get a train, you see.
Ryan's got to get get
Old
going.
Ryan cutting the podcast short for personal gain. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't getting the train.
You wish you were just living on the streets.
Should get Fabian Barthez again. He was a madman.
Yeah, he was good. Is he still race car driving, Fabian Barthez?
No idea.
He did Le Mans, didn't he?
No,
I believe he did.
There's
What we
talk
got?
about racism in it because we've been racist again because apparently
We are?
Yeah, because we're like Henderson over De Gea now. I think that's the next.
Xenophobic.
Yeah,
Same race, aren't
same
we?
race, but whatever.
And also, I don't like Henderson over De Gea. Oh,
This
let's
is
just
it,
ignore
yeah.
that.
So that's why I kind of moved.
But yeah, so should we have a quick look towards Chelsea? Obviously, we've actually got a game this weekend.
Oh, we've got football
I
again.
say it's this weekend.
It's
It's
Monday.
Monday. But it's essentially this
I like
weekend.
the break.
You've enjoyed the break?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give our little thoughts on the break quickly. You've
I think
enjoyed
it's good for. It was great for Man United because you've
Yeah.
seen now, Twanzebe, McTominay,
Even
who else was-
Igalo, it's a great time to get him in. He's had 2 weeks fitness
By the way,
training.
did you see how slow Luke Shaw looked in training? Have you seen that
No,
clip?
no.
Oh my god.
Was it next to Igalo?
No, it's not like the slow, but he's just doing a little thing around poles, and he's just so slow around. You're just like, I'd put that in. Like, I work harder than that at Paddock FC training, and I don't really want
It's
to.
one of them.
work
I think
any harder than
his body shape just
And
makes him look
Cameron
slow
brought a
at
couple-
whatever
Yeah.
he does.
that. No, it's not just that.
Yeah,
it's just
he
like
would look
the
slow on a
effort-
moped, to be fair.
The effort in putting it in is just so bad, and you're just like.
Is it?
But anyway, it's good to see. Like, I think a few lads that had the dip in form, Lingard, Delo, and Shaw went out and did a bit of extra training. I think they needed that.
Yeah.
I think some of the lads just need a break. I think, especially with the young players that have been playing. Brandon
Yeah,
Williams
like
played a
Dan
lot.
James.
Greenwood, Dan James, just
Yeah.
to.
Martial even needs a break. I know he's
leave for a bit and not do anything else.
played
That
every
was
game.
really good.
Yeah.
And hopefully we've got a stronger team coming into the Chelsea game than we have done for a while.
Yeah,
They're going to be
definitely.
the same. They've got the break as well, and they've got some players coming back. But
Yeah. And it looks
With
like
how-
Pogba, he's got his boot off his foot again.
yeah, he's looked like he's moving. a bit,
Same
so.
with Rashford. It still seems like he's miles away, doesn't it? I
Yeah.
don't think he's not even eligible to
The
train.
thing that worries me with
yet,
Rashford, I
but
feel like he's going to rush himself back.
for the Euros. Try and get some games in before the Euros.
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, the good thing about Rashford, for his position currently, I think for the first time in his career, he is a nailed-on starter for England now. Whereas he was always, even in the World Cup, he didn't start every game. And I think that he can either play one or maybe not even any games in the league. And if he can prove his fitness leading up to the World Cup, maybe a couple of those friendlies, I think he'll get his place back no matter what.
Yeah.
I think especially that Harry Kane he will do. Because Harry Kane's not looking anything. I think
The only worry with that is if he moves Rashford into a centre forward role, which we know doesn't
I
necessarily.
don't
suit
think
him
he
that much.
will, but there's a possibility of that. But I think the England front threes. I mean, Sterling's
Get Danny
hamstring-
Ings in, lads.
It's mad. How is Danny Ings doing?
Because he scored so many goals and he's
How is
great.
he?
And
He's
Southampton
very
have had a
good.
real turnaround, and Danny Ings is the king. Get him in. Danny
So-
Kings, mate. We like Danny Ings now. I didn't
Yeah,
like
do
him at
we?
Liverpool, but I'm allowed to like him again now, yeah.
Yeah.
I served him once. I served him a milkshake, him and his girlfriend, home sweet home, on Deansgate.
What flavour was it?
What did he go
I think
for?
it was a strawberry, to be honest with you.
really much.
But that was a lie and a guess, so who knows, really? I can't remember what it was. It was either strawberry or Oreo, but yeah, I got him a milkshake when he was at Liverpool. Seemed like a nice guy. A lot shorter than you think. He's like 5'7". Yeah, he's a short guy. No offense, Ryan. But yeah, so that's going to be all for us today. I think, like we said,
Yeah.
all the podcasts are on. Check out our podcast on your phone or iTunes or Spotify
Correct.
or wherever you normally get your podcasts. So check those out. Thanks for joining me, Alex.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks,
Enjoyed it.
Ryan. We're going to be back tomorrow for the news, of course, in the morning. We're going to have a My Man United and then another podcast on Thursday. Loads of podcasts all the time.
Just podcast,
Love a
podcast,
podcast.
podcast.
Right, thank you very much.
See you
See you in a
later.
bit.
Yeah.